Hi, I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio, and welcome to the Mayor's Roundtable. Two men, intelligent conversation around a semi-round table with Mayor Woodruff. Mayor, it's the first show of 2016. We're leading off strong now, and we're going to have some updates, a little bit about the redevelopment and what's going on in municipal offices, and we're going to talk a little bit about volunteerism tonight, I believe, correct?
That's correct. That's correct, Doc. And we have Noel Jenko, who is the president of the First Aid Squad, who's going to join us at the second portion of the show. But on the first portion, I thought we'd kind of talk a little bit about what's occurred. So we did miss January, and some things have happened.
So we got a little update to do, but first, I do want to welcome our live audience. I wish everybody would give themselves a hand, please. Yeah, we got a big crowd going out tonight. But seriously, the Mayor's Roundtable is filmed the third Thursday of every month at 7 o'clock p.m. in the municipal offices, City Hall here. So please come on down. We'd like you to participate and enjoy seeing the show get produced. So, Mayor, lots of places to start. A lot of the big buzzword is redevelopment. So any updates? I know we just had everybody got together. We had the open house, was it, I believe, on the redevelopment?
That's correct, Doc. A few weeks ago on a Saturday, our professionals came down here along with some of our administrators and some council members and basically hosted what we'd call really an open house where a lot of the conceptual drawings of what we hope to do with respect to the new downtown municipal facility was up for everyone to take a look at, to make comments. And we thought it went very, very well. It went for about 4 or 5 hours and was well received. And some interesting comments were brought forth by individuals. What we managed to do is get a lot of individuals who don't come to the meetings, okay? And I would say, at least during the period of time when I was here, that the better part of 60 to 70% of the people that went through while I was here were not people that you usually saw at the meetings. So that was a good thing.
And that's what we want. We want to make sure everybody gets the information.
And I know Mr. Pasicolo, our business administrator, was here and he was participating. So that went very well. And where we are with that is we are within the next month or so expect to sign the contract, if you would, with Little Flower. But people need to remember that there's 2 steps to this. The first step is getting us a new facility down here, and the second step is the redevelopment of the current property that Little Flower owns. This is meaning the township facility is the most important thing that needs to get done.
All right, so that's the priority.
That's the priority, and we hope to start taking some borings on the property within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And which is good because people will start to see things being done, and that gets us going, right? So we're very happy with that, and we're ready to go.
Excellent. And I know, thanks to the Communications Committee, they put together the highlights of that, which is on the website as well as, I believe, TAP as well. So people can get, if you didn't make the meeting, you can get the information there. So
that's correct. And other things are going on, Doc. We had Kevin Hall left as a council person. Kevin was an elected official for quite a few years and is replaced by Mike DeQuilla. And Michael's a tremendous addition. Michael's an engineer by trade, and I think as we proceed into this redevelopment and start to deal with redevelopers and the proposals and so on and so forth, I really look for Michael to get involved and being a point person with respect to dealing, because of his understanding of the whole process. So we're very happy to have Michael along. Kevin remains assisting us in the redevelopment project. We've appointed Mark Fasher, current councilman, to head up the process, take Kevin's role. Kevin will be an assistant, so to speak, because Kevin brings an historical perspective to the entire thing. And we appreciate Kevin, obviously, continuing.
So what's the role of that, someone who's now a private citizen as a consultant to the township council? I mean, how does that work? Because he's technically not on the council anymore.
That's correct. Well, he's really assisting us with respect to the committee that we have, the ad hoc committee, so to speak, that we have. It's a non-paid position, okay? And Kevin it would be, in my mind, as well as the council, it'd be foolish if somebody had that kind of an understanding to simply say you've got to leave.
Yeah, I understand that,
but just doesn't help.
My question is, can we get more citizens involved in some of these ad hoc committees? What do you think?
Well, it depends, because I know we have an ad hoc committee on affordable housing, and I've got a couple individuals involved there. They also happen to be on the planning board and so on and so forth. So
let's wait for more people to get involved.
Well, it's about volunteerism, which happens to be the topic tonight. Okay?
Appropriate, isn't it?
We'll segue into that a little bit. But it's this town, the people of this town have a lot to offer, and so many come out, and it cannot get done simply by saying we're going to elect 6, 7, 8 people and let it happen.
Just let it happen. Sure.
On the police front, we had 3 individuals retire within the last year. We have hired 3 new officers who are all sworn in, and now next Tuesday we are swearing in, I should say, from a standpoint of individuals going into the position of sergeant. They're already employed, so that's nice. And
nice changes on
yes,
the police department.
Chief DePasquale is very, very involved. He's making some changes, and we look forward to that. Memorial project is going well.
How's the funding on that coming along?
It's going very well. I don't want to discourage anyone from continuing to.
So we still need a little money, so support the Memorial Fund Park.
I'm assuming pretty much everybody, I'm sure everybody here has seen the soldier monument that's across the street. It is an incredible work of art. It was donated by the late Vito Mondelli. Nice. So that has really enhanced that park, and we're getting there. And I think our goal to have that done by Memorial Day is well within reach.
Well, let's make it happen. So we're going to ask everybody to continue to support that. You can get the information on, again, the website for the town. So speaking of the website, it's under redevelopment. Do we have any ideas on when that might be ready to roll out?
I understand that there have been meetings just within the last few days, very productive meetings, and it's been estimated that probably by mid-spring it'll be up and running.
Okay, excellent.
Excellent. In full force. Mm-hmm. So that's another area that we're
now all this stuff costs money, Mayor.
It does.
When do the budget hearings start?
Budget hearings begin probably within the next month. We hope to.
Really? That soon?
Well, we'd like to present the budget in March. Now, the reason it's important to do so is the longer you wait to present the budget, and then the longer, particularly when it comes to capital expenditures. Capital expenditures are anything that have a life expectancy of 5 years or more. And a truck, okay? Now, by the time, if you don't pass a budget till June or late spring, early summer, by the time it comes around now to going out for bids, you're not getting these items in a timely fashion. So that really holds us up, and we've gone to great pains to put together 5-year capital plans. So if we can't get the items purchased, then what good is a plan? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we really want to speed that up. Our CFO, Mike Merceau, and John Bricicolo, our business administrator, have worked very, very hard with our department heads. We've looked to do things budget-wise a little differently this year. It's my feeling that each of these department heads know what their department needs. Okay, 6 council people and a mayor doesn't necessarily know what go on. Okay, so we're counting on John with his knowledge of the departments, and Mike, given his fiscal background, to basically serve as a filter.
Right.
And let's get to us those items that are really issue items.
Yeah.
Now, capital expenditure is a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Capital expenditure has to be looked at carefully because of the great costs involved, and whether we can, are we buying fire trucks, are we buying dump trucks, and so on and so forth.
So it's my understanding that the mantra of the Township Committee is Jimmy Stewart's, and It's a Wonderful Life. Mrs. O'Donoghue, do you really need the 425?
That's a good
that's not the lady's name, but is that what we're looking at? I mean, what do they really need?
That happens all the time. Okay, we're a zero-based budgeting group, and that means that we don't, unlike the federal government, we don't start with what you spent last year and then add on to that. We say,
that's my point.
You need to tell us from ground zero, what is it you need? Mm-hmm. So whereas last year we may have paid you X, this year maybe you only get 80% X. Mm-hmm. If that's all you can justify.
And that's being reasonable and feasible.
I think it's the only way that you're fiscally prudent. It's the only way you can be responsible. Otherwise, you get runaway budgets.
Yeah.
And if someone, and this is natural, if someone thinks they have a certain amount to work with from the start, they'll fill that. Mm-hmm. They'll find ways to fill it. It's our job to make sure that it's only being filled because it's needed.
Great. A lot of new things are coming down the pike, a lot of things we had to remind everybody about that on our previous show, so I think there's a nice wrap up for the new year. But we are doing a little bit something different, which you had mentioned earlier. Usually we have a municipal official or something like that to come on as our guest, but this month we're going to do something different. We're going to bring in one of our volunteer groups. Yep. Tell us a little about the guest tonight.
Real quick here, before the break, Noel Jenko, as I said, who's the president of the First Aid, is going to join us. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had the pleasure of attending the annual First Aid Squad dinner. It's a tremendous event. A lot of First Aid Squad members from years back come, and they honor those who have performed great service for the year. And it was a tremendous evening, so I thought it was a good idea to put a focus on the volunteers.
Well, that's what it is, and when we come back, we'll have Noel Jenko from the Berkeley Heights First Aid Squad. We'll be right back. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio with Mayor Woodruff. Well, there's lots of volunteer activities going on, and Mayor, you're going to be shooting the gun for one of them. Which one?
That's correct, Doc. On I think it's Sunday, May 8th.
That's Mother's Day.
That's Mother's Day. We've got the 5K, and I've had the opportunity for the last couple of years to do that. It's a great event. There's a lot of people come out and enjoy themselves and get a little exercise in and raise some money. So it's good.
And they raise it specifically for the Live Strong program at the Y, which is a free program the Y offers for cancer survivors, an 8-week program free for cancer survivors. So, Mayor, are you going to run this year to help raise money for Live Strong?
No, those days are over, Doc. But I will fire the weapon.
Oh, there you go. And for people who want to improve their running technique, the YMCA is having a running clinic starting May 12th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Saturdays for 7 weeks leading up to the race. I'm going to be in charge of the running clinic, teaching proper mechanics, dynamic warm-up, cool down, and all sorts of things to get you to run better so you can run more. So, Mayor, you can get back to running.
Well, maybe I'll join you there, Doc.
Thanks a lot, and support the Live Strong program and the Mother's Day 5K YMCA race. The Rotary Club is a very strong supporter of the community here in Berkeley Heights. And Jerry Harris, you've been involved with the Rotary for how long?
25 years.
That's fantastic, Jerry. Why the Rotary?
In 3 words, service above self. I've always believed that, and I've always lived and I've always practiced that.
And that's great. All service clubs are involved with that. And the Rotary's done something more to be with it for 25 years. So tell me a little bit about some of your personal experiences with the Rotary.
What I like so much about Rotary is that we invest in other people, both internationally and nationally and locally. We help with the fire squad. We've given vest to the police. This Berkeley Heights Rotary Club has invested and given money to Ecuador for kids down there. We help house them, and we also invest in bringing them up here. We've helped with all sorts of different kinds of medical situations where we help people.
Service before self, you're right.
Yeah.
3 words, it's very simple.
Very simple.
How do people find out more about the Berkeley Heights Rotary Club?
We meet every other Tuesday.
You only been going 25 years, Jerry, and you don't remember the meetings? This could be dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
When do you meet?
It happens when you get old. I can't help it. We meet every second and fourth at the, let me read my little cheat sheet, Chimney Rock Inn, right down the street from here.
Okay.
12:15.
12:15, stop by Chimney Rock, 2nd and 4th
Week.
You got it.
4th week of every month.
You got it. On Tuesday, was it?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, between us both, we might get it right.
Wednesday.
The 2nd and 4th Wednesday of every month, 12:15, Chimney Rock. Stop by for lunch. Learn how to give to others before yourself. Let the Rotary lead by example. Jerry, thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
Welcome back to the show. It's the Mayor's Roundtable. Tonight, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. If you think about it, people aren't really known for or remembered for what they really are and what they do, but what they give and what they give back. That's really a lot of times what we're remembered for, and what really impacts other people in the community is how much we give and we give back. And if we look around us in Berkeley Heights, we got a lot of great organizations that are volunteer-based and service-based. And one of the most significant for all of us is the Volunteer Rescue Squad, and that's who we're going to talk to. Noel Jenko, president of the Berkeley Heights Volunteer Rescue Squad. Number 1, thank you for serving us. And number 2, thanks for coming out tonight.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Tell us a little bit about the Volunteer Rescue Squad and what you do.
Well, I mean, we are about 50 members strong when you take into account all of our regular members and associates and cadets and college students. We service the community 24/7, 365 days a year. We never bill for our services. We don't bill We don't bill your insurance company. We just provide them free of charge. And we enjoy doing it. We have a good time doing it as well.
I mean, that's great.
Sure does, Doc.
Completely volunteer.
Absolutely.
No back-end fees or anything like that. That's really fantastic.
Yep.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's a really great way to give back 24/7. Mary, you ever use the rescue squad?
Fortunately, no. But obviously, I know many that have, and it's like you said. I think what you said was well said, Doc, and that is that it's these individuals that people know we have a rescue squad, but until you need it, they're really kind of out of sight, out of mind. Yeah.
Speaking about that, what do you think is one of the biggest questions people have about the rescue squad? I mean, when you're out and about, are there common questions that you get?
Yeah, believe it or not, I mean, some of them totally unrelated to healthcare. People ask us if we're part of the fire department, which we are not. I mean, we are an independent rescue squad company. We're actually, I think we have our 75th anniversary coming up in 2 years.
Wonderful.
So, but a lot of people think that we're part of the fire department. That's a common, EMS and fire are often combined in some towns, but in our town they're not. So we get that question a lot. You always get the question of, should I call 911? Why, it's trivial, it's not that big a deal, I'll take myself. And what we always say is don't do that. I mean, we're here to service the community. We sign up for it, we don't mind doing it. And if we pick you up and determine that there's something wrong with you, essentially you get triaged in the ambulance. So by the time you get to the emergency room, they know who you are, they know that you're coming, they know what's wrong with you, and they can hopefully already have a place for you, as opposed to you sitting in the chairs in the emergency room, waiting, why aren't I being seen? What's the story? So, I mean, it's really a better way of doing it. Like I said, we don't mind, so what we sign up
That's a huge point that I think everybody grasps. If you think you need to go to the emergency room, call 911, take the ambulance brings you right in. That's what Noel just said. And you're not going to have to sit out front. You're going to bring you right in, and if you are emergent, they're on you immediately. Yeah. And you won't get lost in the shuffle. That's a great point.
No, let me ask you, along the lines of commitment, and we know how significant the commitment is, talk a little bit about if somebody comes and they want to become a member of the first aid squad, but they really don't have any significant training. Tell us how that person gets trained and how they become an active member of the squad.
Well, that's the way I started, about 7 years ago. I kept driving by the sign in front of the rescue squad that says, we need help. And I had been retired from my first career for a while. I said, I can do that. And what we would do is take you in, make you an associate member, let you ride with a crew to see a couple things. Do you like it? Are you set up for doing it? Do you have the ability to get out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, be away for an hour and a half, and then go back to sleep? Or are you one of those persons that's up for the rest of the night and shot for the rest of the day? But we bring people on as associates. To become an EMT takes now about 190 hours of training. It's probably about 120 of class and maybe 60 or 70 of doing work either in a hospital or a mobile intensive care unit. But that's a big commitment. That training is actually paid for by the state.
Wow.
Depending on where you take it, there's some courses that don't take what is known as the train fund, others that do. Union County College does. They have an excellent training program. And while you're getting trained, you're still riding in the ambulance. You're getting exposed to people being sick, people being hurt, both the good and the bad of that part. You see if you like it, if you can adapt to it. We have an active cadet program, and I think that's good for kids who are thinking about healthcare careers. They get an idea of, ooh, I really like the exciting stuff on the emergency side, or no, I'm not geared up for that. I like the sight of blood. I can't stand the sight of blood. So it's like I said, it's about 190 hours, and then once you get your EMT, I mean, you're essentially mentored. I mean, our crew is typically 2 older EMTs, an associate, and maybe a cadet in the evening. Cadets have only limited time they can ride in the evenings, and so you'll get oh, you do patient care, and there'll be somebody with more experience looking over your shoulder, and essentially bringing you along. So it takes, in all honesty, it takes a year or so, maybe even more, before you get to the point where you're comfortable doing all aspects of the job.
Now that cadet program, I gotta admit, I'm very impressed by that, because it seems to me, my perception, that the young men and women that do that are really outstanders in their academic profile as well, and it makes them quite unique, isn't it?
It does, and I mean,
because there's really only a handful of kids that do that, and I think that's a nice.
And I'll
Not
tell
only
you-
do you help other people, it's a nice thing on your resume.
And I'll tell you, at the dinner that they have each year, they give awards for how many people, how many different events, I should say, their calls they go on, and the young kids get so excited. They really do, and you can see how much of an effort and commitment they've made. Now, obviously, as Noel would tell you, these kids go to college, and now you got to fill those ranks.
Yeah.
And maybe they move back here, but maybe they move to Iowa.
Yeah.
Maybe they move to Michigan. Okay, well, at least you've got somebody out there now that's going to keep giving back. But it's something we have to keep replenishing. And
How's your membership status these days? Where do we want to fill in those slots, where we need people?
we can always use additional members. We could, in particular, use additional members that can ride during the daytime hours. I mean, it used to be a little bit easier to attract people in the daytime, and you get people like myself who are retired, but we can always use people during the day. People at night, those are a little bit easier, because it's people who tend to have regular jobs, and they get off their regular job at 6 o'clock, and they start riding their evening shift at 7 p.m. and goes to 7 a.m. the next morning.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Now, what about continuing ed? Do you get refreshers on your EMT, and how does that work?
There's a process. I mean, the EMT, it's a license that's issued by the state, and it's either some of them are for 5 years. The newer ones are back down to every 3 years, and in that 3 years, you've got to take 24 credits of it's 3 particular courses. They're typically day-long courses.
8-hour courses.
And then, smaller pieces. We ourselves have training once a month. Sometimes those training sessions are good for CEUs, sometimes they're not. But we always have monthly training for all of our members that we can participate in, just to keep current.
Yeah, which is great. Sam, I like that idea, Noel. Keep it up. Keep it up. You might be coming to my house someday. Keep it up. I like that.
One of the things we find is that we don't, you can go, if you're riding a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift, you can go for a number of weeks where there'll be no calls on your shift. And there are other people that always seem to be in a shift that gets a lot of calls, and there are other people that never seem to get any calls. So, I mean, the training's important because we're not all of the same level of experience, even though we may have been on for the same amount of time.
Keeps your skills sharp. Now, Noel had something earlier, and I just want to clarify it. It's not a municipally funded entity.
That's correct.
So do we give them any money, Mayor? And if
Well-
not, why not?
Well, we have an agreement with respect to the building.
Okay.
And there are certain obligations the town has with respect to maintaining and so on and so forth. They're a 501c3
Oh, really?
corporation.
I didn't know that.
Or-
So we can give you lots of money and write it off?
Yes, you can.
Oh, that's a good tip for our viewers.
And we do our annual fund drive that I'm sure you're familiar with it. We get it in the mail. It goes out in about April, and if you didn't respond to it, you'll get another one in September saying, geez, did you miss the first one? And some of our companies in town have been generous as well.
Wonderful.
Noel, would you talk a little bit about the interaction? Let's say a call comes in, and obviously, oftentimes the police who happen to be on patrol are perhaps more apt to get there first. What kind of interactions go on with the police, and how do you work together?
Well, typically in this town, because we respond from our homes. When a call goes out, we're not sitting at the rescue squad waiting for the call to happen. We all have pagers or radios or a lot of times on our cell phones now. And so we'll hear the call and we'll come in to the squad, get the ambulance, and then go out to the call. It typically, so that the police are almost always there before us. They do a wonderful job. They're all trained in CPR and in first aid. So they're pretty good about saying what's wrong with the patient. If the patient is in real critical need, they've already potentially put oxygen on the patient. They're pretty good at getting the patient stable if it needs to be. But we get there and we do a more pertinent assessment. And we go out from the 911 call. The 911 call doesn't tell us much. It's usually just the gender, the age, the physical location, and a very brief synopsis of what's wrong. Could be just, the person's fainted, they've got pain in the belly, whatever.
I mean, it's great that you do all this for the community, Noel. I'm really aghast at all you give back, and it's volunteerism. They're a 501c3, which means you can get lots of money for donations, and you're doing it for the goodness, of your heart. And the life you save may be mine, so I'm really glad you're around. And what I want people to understand is that we need to support all the community groups. And tonight it's all about supporting the volunteer first aid squad. So think about joining. It may be a calling for you. If not, write them a nice check. But remember, they're here to serve you, and we all get more when we serve more. Noel, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mayor, I love this idea about reaching out to the community services, and we'll get more of the other volunteer agencies on board as well. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio. Thanks for watching the Mayor's Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next show.